grab your reverse blade swords because it's time to finish the Ruouni Kenshin trilogy with The Legend Ends, the third and final installment in the trilogy. Argument can be made, this one is the most flawed of the three movies, but any shortcomings this movie may have, the 4-on-1 epic sword fight at the end more than makes up for any of the shortcomings. Now, again, there are shortcomings, like, because it's the last movie, a lot of the character development gets focused on Kenshin and other characters get shortchanged. Like, there's a guy you see that fights with a spear and a turtle shell that's blind. He's an absolute powerhouse in the anime. Gets pushed to the side in this, but again, it's an adaptation I can forgive. Now, the movie begins with Kenshin on a beach after the aftermath of the last movie, and he's found by his old master Sujiro Hiku. And when he comes to, he begs him, "Master, you gotta teach me the final technique of the Hiten Mitsurugi. Makoto Shishio's running wild and he's gonna destroy everything. I need your help." So the master gives him an ultimatum. There's something wrong with inside of you. Figure out what that is. And they do train a little before this, and you can see how rusty Kenshin had become. But he tells him, if you figure out what this is, you can learn the ultimate technique. If you don't, it'll be my last duty as your master to kill you. Now, again, trying not to get too spoilerly, the stuff between Kenshin and Shijiro Hiku is great. He's not as comedic as he is in the anime, or as comedic as I would like him to be. He's more stoic, but it works for the movie. Now, Kaoru is found unconscious too. Why? See the second movie. I'm not going to get into spoilers. She's in a hospital, and when Sano and the others find her, again, you get some great comedic stuff with Sano, with him running and yelling through the hospital. Now, Makoto Shishio meets with the leaders of the government, and he tries to get them to do his dirty work and have Kenshin labeled a fugitive. So you have this thing with Kenshin running from the law. After the training ends, he meets up with the Oniwaban group again, and they give him a map. Well, he meets Aoshi Shinomori, and they have their... And again, if you know the anime, it's odd to see this fight here, but they have their showdown. Kenshin wins and tells him basically something similar to what his master told him. Aoshi, there's something wrong with you. Once you figure out what that is, and you still desire to be the best, I will face you again. Or, if you read between the lines, once you figure out what that is, and you still want to be the best, I will face you as a friend, not an enemy. Now, again, more stuff happened there, but I don't want to spoil this for you. Go see the movie. It's awesome. And as far as that 4-on-1 fight, I'll talk about that later. I could spend this whole review just gushing on the awesomeness of that fight. Now, let me think. Now, we get to see Shishio's boat in this, which is like an ironclad type battleship. And that's where him and his top men are held up. The boat also appeared in the second movie. And again, this is an odd one to review because, like I said, it's kind of got the... It is, in its own ways, the most flawed, to the point where there's not much about the story to talk about, but the acting's still great. The action is as good as it ever was, and in some cases better. The Kenshin Aoshi fight is amazing. As well as you get a fight with Sano facing this monk. And I'll talk about this even though the fight's later. In the anime, the monk's another character that's a big deal. He teaches Sano the Futaya Wokinami move, which is like his signature move. It's a super powerful punch that does like a double hit technique that can obliterate almost anything it hits. So again, that's kind of shortchanged, and I'm more Out of the other that and the other character I mentioned, I would rather see the stuff with the monk Anji than with the turtle shell shield guy. Even though he had cool stuff in the anime, Alo Anji would have served the plot of the movie better and helped explain why Sano got to Kyoto so late. But oh well, what are you gonna do? Now, eventually, Kenshin makes his way back to the to Tokyo. He gets arrested, and there's one point with Saito where he gets onto the chief of police because they're putting out the warrant for Kenshin's arrest, and they're gonna execute him. And Saito is mad. Remember, Saito is still the samurai. He still has that spirit alive and well in him. And he tells the chief of police, "Have you forgotten about the samurai spirit?" He basically does all but calls him a disgrace to his face. And the chief is like, "You forget your place." And Saito's like, basically, his attitude is, "I don't care. This is wrong. This is dirty. There is no honor in this. And you are beneath me right now. You may outrank me, but you are so beneath my contempt at this moment." Now, I'm not going to go into spoilers, but we get the beach scene, and obviously Kenshin figures out a way out of it. And we get some cool stuff, like some more great calm comedic aspects with Sano, because there's this bamboo fence where they're going to execute Kenshin, and once the fight breaks out, it's not enough for him to lift the fence out of the ground and throw it, but once it's on the ground, he has to stomp on it before he goes to punching people. And there's a really great moment I love in this scene, and it really speaks to the type of person Saito is. One of Shishio's soldiers stabs one of Saito's men, and he's like, "You died for nothing." And the guy's like, "No, if my death can help keep this government alive, then my death is worth something." And Saito kills the guy and tells him, looks at him and says the best compliment Saito could have ever given him: "You did your duty." We get on the boat. Sano fights the monk Anji. Good fight, comedic stuff. We have Kenshin fight Sojiro, the kid that doesn't feel emotions, was an illegitimate son of a prostitute and a rich business owner. Family treated him like garbage. He met Shishio. He killed his family and locked away his emotions. And he kind of goes crazy when Kenshin beats him, and that's because those emotions are coming back to him. Then we get to the best part, the 4-on-1 fight. In the anime, Kenshin gets taken out through part of the fight. Sano takes over and gets taken out. Then Saito steps in, same thing. Then Aloshi joins in and gets taken out. This does it so much better than the anime. Kenshin gets knocked out, then Saito shows up. And when it looks like Saito's about to kill Kenshin, Sano shows up and saves Saito. And you're like, cool, Aloshi's not in there, but I'm liking this. And at one point, when they all get on the ground level, because part of the fight went on a balcony, you see this camera with a low angle of these legs running. And I'm sure everyone that's seen the anime had the same reaction. No, it's really gonna be him. And then Aloshi shows up. And then the awesomeness sets in when you realize that they're all gonna face him at once. And this fight scene is just amazing. And by the way, there's this thing because Shishio was burnt, he has no sweat glands, so if he fights over 15 minutes, he's gonna die. But back to the fight scene, there's this one really awesome point where Shishio attacks Kenshin. In When he goes to go at Kenshin again, Aoshi runs in and blocks Kenshin. And then with the next attack, Saito blocks for Aoshi, and Sano's running in and punching and hitting him. And I've told you how elite these guys are for the most part in this fight. Shishio just walks all over with them. He just has his way with these warriors. And it's just sheer awesomeness. I can't do this fight justice. If you see this movie for no other reason, see it for the fight scene. If you don't like anime but like samurai action, still see all three of these movies, and especially this one for that one fight scene. Now, it eventually likes the anime, gets to where it's just Kenshin and Shishio. And it ends pretty much the way the anime does, with Shishio spontaneously combusting. And I should have commented too, to step it back a few, when Aoshi steps in, he tells Shishio, I'm the one that's gonna defeat Batosai. But you don't hear the same conviction in his voice. He's beginning to let go of his hate for Kenshin and let go of the grudge. Now, as they're getting off the boat, this is another scene I love. The boat's exploding. Sano's carrying Kenshin, and Saito and Aoshi are going together, and it's clear Saito and Aoshi can get off this boat easier than Kenshin or Sano, but they all have the mentality of, we almost died together taking him down, so if we don't all get off this boat together, none of us are getting off this boat. And when they get to the beach, the one of the government officials orders everyone to salute the samurai, and really they're saluting all of them. And when he issues the order to salute the samurai, look at Aoshi's face. You can see what little bit of that hate and anger he had towards Kenshin was just abolished. It's like, there's no way I can hate a man this honorable, this noble. And it's a great scene. And then the last scene, you get a nice character moment between Kenshin and Karu. And again, I just love this movie. If the series had to end someplace, this is the perfect place for it to end. Is it the most flawed in the series? Yes and no. I argue the last fight makes up for any shortcomings, but I'm not denying the shortcomings aren't there. It's still awesome. I give this one a 9 out of 10. I give the series as a whole a solid 10 out of 10. Check them out. Ruouni Kenshin Origins, Ruouni Kenshin Kyoto Inferno, and Ruouni Kenshin The Legend Ends. You won't regret these, even if you don't know the anime. Check them out. If you just like action, check them out. If you like samurai movies, definitely. If you like martial arts, still check these movies out. Well, that's all I have to say. You want to like and subscribe, you can even hit dislike if you want. Cool with me. My next review might be kind of a book-ish review talking about the World War I Christmas truce. It seems like an appropriate time of year. Enjoy your movies, everyone.